South by Southwest is made up of music, film and TV, innovation, comedy, and education. Those are sort of the 5 verticals that we focus on. Over the course of 7 days, we'll host thousands of artists that will do showcases every night across over 50 venues, all those things happening together. And one of the new things we're doing this year is we're actually creating a crossover day. So we're building that bridge now just to make sure that there is a strong connection.
What you chose to do as a team is focus on a C word, and that's called community.
The audience is just so diverse. People are coming from so many different industries to participate. Being at a festival that also has a major film and TV festival, a music festival, innovation expos that are showcasing new technologies that aren't just specific to health and med tech, for example. You're kind of having these interactions that are unique to this experience and open up your perspective in some new and novel ways.
What's up, everybody? Got another action-packed episode for you today. I have a treat for you guys. I have the SVP of Programming of South by Southwest, Greg Rosenblum. This guy has been with South by Southwest for 15 years. Let me repeat that, guys. 15 years. How many of you have been with the same company, organization for 15 years? I'd like to say people stay for a year or two, get experience, and move on. And Greg's done the same thing, but he's moved on within the organization. And he is bringing amazing stories through film to massive festivals every single year at South by Southwest. So without further ado, man, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Shawn. It's great to be here. I'm excited to have the conversation.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we've been trying to do this for a very long time, and I'm just so grateful that we're finally here, man. We did it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
No, so, like I mentioned, when I introduce somebody, I really like to dig in to the full background of everybody. And there's something very special about you, Greg. I mentioned it, being at South by Southwest for 15 years. Why is that?
It's probably a lot of factors, Shawn. And I should start maybe with how I entered into the organization and the opportunity that I found, back when I joined 15 years ago, which was interviewing for a position in one of a collection of houses in a neighborhood in Hyde Park in Austin, Texas, and sort of catching a little bit of the energy of you can kind of build and do anything in the context of this festival that's coming together. And it was at the time when the organization was thinking about launching into a new vertical, into education, so South by Southwest EDU. And this opportunity to both take this longstanding festival, I think at the time it was in its 25th year and was coming together around music and technology and film and television, to extend that work into education to a new community was sort of this special opportunity. And so I jumped in and got a chance to kind of learn from the best here. I've been a student of the organization for the last 15 years. It's been an opportunity to understand all the facets of producing live experiences. But I think that the biggest thing that has been part of that journey has just been learning how to translate that connective tissue that happens in the context of a festival and a conference for a new community like education, and then broadening that to where I'm at now with all of South by Southwest. It's been an incredible journey.
That's amazing. I like hearing the origin story of how you get into companies, right? Because it always starts small. It starts, and that's the thing with life and anything in career. Doesn't matter if you're looking to become a better person, looking to get a nice job, or become a SVP. You start somewhere. And I always say there has to be some type of adversity or sticking points throughout the whole process. Can you share a few moments, that if it's not too personal, of things that you went through to get to where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I think have always been very passionate about one, being in community with one another, but also about education. On a personal level, I grew up, and as I got into the first grade, I started to struggle with reading a little bit, right? And I soon got diagnosed with dyslexia and went through this experience of learning how to read. It took me until I was in 4th grade. I went through all these different sort of support mechanisms around that throughout my educational journey, and it gave me a deep appreciation for the importance of support for students along that learning journey. And it's interesting to tie it back to something at South by Southwest. There was a speaker in 2013, Ray Kurzweil, who's the famous inventor. He's done keyboards, he's done a lot of different technologies, but my through line for his work has been he created this technology that I used to help me read and digest materials back when I was in high school and college.
No.
Yeah, it was incredible to see it full circle on stage, that he was coming to talk about this connection to education and technology and music, and that my through line was through my own personal journey. And so to have the opportunity to come into South by Southwest and be a student who has gone through that kind of experience myself, and also understand that there are lots of different learner journeys out there, to be able to build a space with South by Southwest EDU, and then in the broader context now with South by Southwest, where stakeholders from across the learning landscape, educators, administrators, policymakers, inventors and education technologists can come together and really think about, how do we create impact for students and learners everywhere, not just in the US, but globally, was such a magical, opportunity to come into the organization. But that personal journey through education, through seeing the impact of those experiences, not just for myself, but for others, really helped shape and frame how I saw education being a big linchpin and changing point for folks.
It's interesting that you mentioned that personal through line, that personal journey. So I recently did an interview, and we spoke about it off camera with William H. Macy, about John O'Leary's story of being burned as a young boy, over 100% of his body. And I say around 2016, when the book came out, I was walking around Barnes & Noble or Books A Million. I don't know which one it was, right? But I was walking around and I was looking for a book to inspire me, because I had just left teaching and coaching and I went into sales, and I was like, something feels stale right now. I just need to be, that word motivated, or give some little seed of inspiration. And I couldn't find a book, and I was about ready to walk out of there frustrated. And I just saw the cover. It said On Fire. I'm like, I need to be on fire. I really need to be on fire. And, I thought it was, figurative, right? I didn't know it was going to be an actual story about a young boy catching on fire. And I read the book from cover to cover. And it's very hard for me to do that nowadays, right? I don't, sit down, my ADHD kicks in way too much. And, I hear a bird chirp and I'm gone, right? I'm out of there. But I read this book and I was inspired by it. And years later, an opportunity came by to interview William H. Macy on this movie idea. And I did a little digging of like, this sounds really familiar. And so I did the background on the movie, and sure enough, it was tied to a book that's been sitting on my bookshelf for 9 years. And it was an amazing interview. And I even did an interview with John O'Leary as well. That's to be, put out in addition to William. So my point is, it's amazing in life how if we just stay in alignment and pay attention to our own journeys, things come around that are meant to come around. And in your case, struggled early in education because of dyslexia in reading, got into some technology from this gentleman, and then you take a job out South by Southwest in the EDU department, which I would imagine, was that the attraction for you? Was it had to do with education at the beginning?
Yeah, absolutely. And my background is also in music and economics, and I feel like it was the confluence of the creative industries, and I saw this opportunity, and it sparked something inside me.
What was that feeling for you? Right, you're sitting there in the seating, and this gentleman is talking. What emotionally? I want you to paint that picture for the audience, storytell that, because I really think there's something there for people to latch onto simply by stating, as we go through life, we don't really understand why certain things happen, or why certain people are in our lives, or why we use a certain product. And then that one moment, everything becomes clear, and it's serendipitous.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the reflection was just that, you can experience the impact of someone's work through a single lens, in terms of how it comes into your personal world, or the place that you're existing in. And for me, this technology was such an impactful part of my educational journey. And then to have my eyes open to just the broad spectrum of areas that he was impacting through his work, that invention and discovery and inspiration can have this broad channel for impact beyond just the individual, was like a powerful moment for me. And I think, just in our journey here at South by, it's been building an event from the ground up with the education side has been, a labor of love, right? Like it was an idea we had. There was a strong brand with South by Southwest, but it was a completely new audience. We had to kind of sell the community on why it was important for educators to be in the same room as education technologists and investors and policymakers, why all of the work that they're doing is interconnected. The outcome is, yes, what the students are experiencing, but we kind of had to create this this convergence of community that South by Southwest is known for, but in a new vertical. And I think we learned early on we had to kind of define the purpose of it and that why, really be specific about it, because we were creating something so different and unique at the time, to really help illuminate, why people should devote their time and energy to being present there. And I think it was just such an incredible journey to do that, because we learned, I think there's nothing better than that like reaction from the audience, right? So that first year we had a few hundred people come out, and it was incredible to just have something that gained a little bit of traction with the education side. And then it, went to 2,000 and 4,000 attendees and 6,000 and 8,000, and it just kind of grew and grew and grew. And, it's not the only new event that South by Southwest has launched in that time. We've, have done the environmentalism event, this eco event. We did an event in Vegas for a few years called V2V. We've tried a bunch of different things, but it took this connection between purpose and audience and community to kind of build that experience. And it's been such an amazing journey to kind of learn and grow over that period of time. Each year you build it up, and then it comes down, and then you rebuild the festival every year.
That's really cool, man. That's really cool, Greg. I mean, from year one, a couple hundred people, like you said, 300 people, whatever, then to 2,000, then to 4,000, and to 10,000. That is massive and explosive growth. Was it hard for you to transition to a completely different division? Now you're with programming, you're the SVP of Programming. You missed the EDU part? What's going on there?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And honestly, I still get to keep some connection to the education side. So South by Southwest is made up of music, film and TV, innovation, comedy, and education. Those are sort of the 5 verticals that we focus on. Over the course of 7 days in March, we'll host thousands of artists that will do showcases every night across over 50 venues. We'll have film screenings, TV showcases, conference sessions from thousands of speakers, and that's all done within the programming department here. And so it's as big as EDU was, it's a bigger scale, right? And it's a lot of, but one of the through lines, especially as we go into our 40th year at South by and are thinking about, how do we tell this story, has been, all those things happening together. And one of the new things we're doing this year is we're actually creating a crossover day. So the education audience has their own event, South by Southwest EDU, and that last day of South by Southwest EDU is actually the first day of the rest of South by Southwest. So we're building that bridge now just to make sure that there is a strong connection between the audiences. And so it's been a big learning curve, to step into a new role and to work across all the different parts of South by Southwest. But there are amazing colleagues here that have been embedded in the space for a long time and are really helping bring the true programming to light.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine, you don't have a whole bunch of time to sit there and mourn your past position. I mean, you're a busy man, right? You guys started applications months ago. You guys have already released 1 round of speakers for the March 2026 event. And I mean, it's coming up quick. I mean, we're already in Q4, right? I mean, you before you know it, that's going to be here. How excited is everybody to continue to release the speakers lineup and then get this event going?
Phenomenally excited. I mean, I think one of the biggest challenge points for us this year has been, quite honestly, that we have been running programming for South by Southwest out of the Austin Convention Center, in addition to surrounding venues, since 1993. And this is the first year that they're actually tearing the whole building down. It'll be under construction, and they're rebuilding the whole convention the next 3 years. So we've known this has been coming for a couple of years. We've been planning, but we have just, with this latest announcement, kind of explained how we're taking that as a way to fuel a new vision for the festival to exist within the context of the city, the community, and really support the go forward of the festival. So while we're sort of, to your point, less than 6 months out and really in that, that very energetic stage of confirming content and announcing speakers and artists and films and getting into the season, I think one of the true sort of challenges that we had been, faced with the, having to reimagine the whole festival here in Austin, is an exciting place for us to now be at a point where we're sharing with the world how we're seeing it come together. We're building these community clubhouses. We're trying to improve the experience, and the footprint is going to really be even more embedded in the city. And I think that's a great response to a little bit of adversity that has kind of set us up to take this new trajectory with the festival.
I want the audience to really think about what Greg just said. And then if you forget, rewind it a little bit, go back and listen, because they were faced with the convention center being torn down and being remodeled. They knew about it for a couple years prior, but it's a different challenge that you guys are facing this year, and you have to reimagine it. But the way you painted it, it was an opportunity to, change the face of it, to reimagine, like you said. And with anything in life, when we're faced with some type of adversity, a setback, a kick in the kneecap, or we fall down, it's all about how you perceive what your paradigm is at that time about that event. And I just really enjoyed how you painted that picture. I want you to dive in a little bit, because a lot of people are going to sit there and say, well, I don't understand how to do that. So from an executive member and a team that you guys have, how did you guys work with each other to say, okay, we have two ways we can go. We can look at this as an opportunity to reimagine and reinvent, or we can look at it as poor South by.
That's so well framed, Shawn. And to say there weren't moments where we were sitting around the table saying, poor South by, like, how are we going to reimagine the festival would be, not to acknowledge the actual circumstance of what it was like. I mean, I've been here for 15 years, and until this in 2026, this is the first time we'll produce the festival without the convention center. So this attachment to home base, to having that be where we host our keynotes, where registration is, where the exhibitions are hosted, is a really big change. And I think, in any organization, some of the best ways to work through that are really, one, thinking about the internal stakeholders. So it's, programming is a big division of the company, but there's an operations and logistics, there's sales and sponsorship, there's marketing, there's internal operations. There's all these different stakeholders that really understand how the event operates. And then most critically, there's the community that we serve, and thinking about what their experience should be when they're in the city. And so, I think we dialed back early on and said, how should someone interact with our experience? What does it mean to be at South by Southwest in Austin? How are you thinking about it? And we started from that point of thinking about the sort of the community first, and then collectively how we can support that here at South by. And so it's been a very iterative process. But, one example, Shawn, is the 40th year of South by Southwest really is 40 years of South by Southwest music, which you called out. That's how we started as, a music festival in 1987 during spring break in Austin, with about 700 people. And, so it's grown a lot since then. But some of the core music venues in the city of Austin are on the Red River Cultural District. It's a street in Austin where there are a bunch of venues that have been in Austin for a long time. They're sort of symbols of the music scene. And we are going to move the entire music conference to be co-located on that street. So it's right as part of that music experience. In the nighttime, you're going to music. During the day, you're going to music conference sessions. We're going to put a clubhouse right there so that community has a touch base the whole time. If you're in the film and TV community, there's going to be a clubhouse across the street from the Paramount, where we do the big premieres of all the headline films, the narrative features, narrative docs. All the big parts of our festival are going to be at that theater, and then a number of theaters throughout the city. And our conference for the film and TV community is also going to be right in that neighborhood. And then we're creating sort of another neighborhood where all the innovation content is going to be. And we've, by thinking about who is going to be participating and having a good experience at the event, it's really been the way that we've tried to navigate this challenge.
Dude, you're becoming one of my favorite people. I'm serious, because what I'm hearing, and this is like, there's so many takeaways, but the one major takeaway here for the audience and people that are going through things, there are going to be moments where you're sitting there saying, poor South by. Those are just random thoughts. That's not actual thinking, right? Actual thinking would be to perpetuate that and take ownership of it and let it infect everybody in the building, right? But what you chose to do as a team is focus on a C word, and that's called community. And I want people to really grasp onto that, because when we struggle in life, when we struggle in small things, it's usually because we're making it about me, making it about our own selves. But then when you take yourself out of the equation and say, what does the community want? What does my listenership want? What does my audience feel? What do they need? How can I serve them? We are here to serve. And too many times, because of everything going on in our society, we like to make things about us. And what's that do? Causes more struggle, causes more adversity, and a massive creativity block. So kudos to you guys, man. That's big.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you calling that out too, Shawn, because I just think that, community is essential to what we all do in any facet. I mean, yeah, we're thinking about it, or as I'm talking about it, is in the context of hosting an in-person convening. And I think that the experience of going through the pandemic and not being able to be connected, but doing it online, and then going out and being together, it's sort of on a personal level and, in the context of South by Southwest, just really hammered home the importance of being in community with people around you, with people in your industry, with people that are, doing amazing things.
But you're right. Thank you for that. And you're also creating these little mini communities, right, based on the industry verticals for people to go and have community during the event and have fun and network. That's what it's all about. So the access part from a community to community standpoint is I think one of the biggest things that a lot of conferences and events miss completely. They whiff. They miss big time. And it's honestly the one way you can get people to stay engaged and keep coming back and bring a friend when they come back.
Absolutely. I mean, I think too, the programming department here at South by Southwest, like our focus is we put the content that's on stages, that's on screens, and we know that is an essential piece of the event, that people are coming to hear from, world-renowned podcasters like Shawn and others that are like really doing amazing work.
I mean, yeah, and that's on you. That's on you guys. You got to make sure that you deliver on that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but the point is like that content is so important to what's going on, but that the individual experience at the event is also about the run-ins in the hallways when you're waiting in line and you get connected, when you go to the meetup or the networking event, or if you're hanging in the clubhouse and you make those connections. Those there's sort of multiple sides to coming together in community and events, and the content is a huge important part of that. And launching, careers and films and all that is something that we focus a lot on. But I also think it's, important just to be in connection with one another. And so when we do our, end of festival surveying or whatever, and you're like, why did you come to South by Southwest this year? There's for knowledge sharing, for inspiration, but then, networking is always a top 3 experience. That's part of why people are showing up to be here.
I mean, the networking done right is really the silver bullet. I mean, it truly is. Everybody's looking for a cheat code. Everybody's looking for that hack that can take you from point A to point F pretty quickly. And really, there's nothing other than, being strategic and staying in your process and making it your standard, but also to link arms with other people, because alone you can go pretty far, but together you can go even further, but even faster. And is one of those things that I had to learn in this journey of building my show was I was very happy and prideful about the fact it's only me. I'm doing this all by myself. And I looked around, I'm like, what am I actually doing by myself? This is really, really difficult. This is hard. And once I brought people, to be a part of this journey with me, I grew exponentially. And to your point, going to events and getting in a room, no matter how big the event is, if you go to events and you work the event the right way and you have intention behind there, you can grow. I went to an event this past weekend and now I'm vetting out 3 new partners for big brands. And it was a smaller event, but I was intentional. So for the people that are listening that, need to go to this event, South by in March in Austin, go there with the intention of just being a good person, get with the community, talk to everybody, be so curious about what everybody does and remove yourself from the equation. You'd be surprised what happens for you.
Absolutely. And I love to hear about your success at your event over the weekend, Shawn. But I totally agree. I mean, I think that's one of the things we've tried to cultivate. And while we do have these big stage experiences, we also do one-on-one mentor sessions throughout the week. We do roundtable programming. We host meetups. We really try and think about, building those connections intentionally and organically throughout the week while people are in town.
I like that. It's not stale, right? Sometimes you go to events, you're in a room, then you have a break, then you go back into the room, you have a bad lunch, you go back into the room, right? And then everybody's standing there awkwardly in the lobby and doesn't know how to interact. I like how you guys are creating multiple touch points and multiple activities for people to genuinely connect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, one of the things that has always been unique about how we've built community at South by Southwest. And I think sort of one of the expectations when people come to the festival is the fact that the audience is just so diverse. People are coming from so many different industries to participate and bring their own perspective. And while you might be from the health and med tech industry coming to attend conference programming in that setting, being at a festival that also has, a major film and TV festival, a music festival, has, innovation expos that are showcasing new technologies that aren't just specific to health and med tech, for example, then you're kind of having these interactions that are unique to this experience and, open up your perspective in some new and novel ways.
I love it, man. Just every time you talk about something, just this undercurrent of community, it just keeps coming. It's like you guys understand what it's really about. And I keep going back to it because I just feel it's a major part of what we're talking about here, is creating an experience for a community, for people to engage, for people to connect, to grow career, to screen movies, to hear musical artists, to understand about technology innovation. I mean, this is really cool. And it's in one of the most awesome places in the United States of America, Austin, Texas. Oh my gosh. The place is great.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways, the story of South by is also sort of mirrors the story of Austin, Texas, and how both the city and the festival have grown over time, and that it's been, such a high energy city. It's a place that is a really important part of South by Southwest. And even in recent years, as South by Southwest has expanded, there's now South by Southwest in London in June, and it's actually going on in Sydney, Australia right now as well. And so there are translations of this sort of community built event around these verticals that are being produced by local teams in these cities. But, the story of South by Southwest and Austin, Texas is so synonymous. And I think one of the cool things about sort of reinventing the experience this year has been thinking about how we continue to stay embedded and supportive of all the local businesses that are part of the Austin ecosystem.
That's pretty awesome. I've been to Austin twice. One was most recently in August. I was talking to a medical sales team about process and strategy and all that fun stuff. But the time before, it was back in my corporate day. And I'm going to tell you something. I was like, man, I'm going to Austin, Texas. This is going to be, I don't even know what's in Austin, Texas. And I get there and we go to this rooftop dinner, whatever, and there's people playing with fire. I'm like, what the hell did I just walk into? Am I in Vegas? What happened? It was the coolest thing ever. This was back in probably 2017-ish. That was my first time I went to Austin. I was blown away. I was like, wow, this place is hip. It's cool.
Yeah. It's very easy to catch the Austin bug and either have an amazing experience while you're in town or feel motivated, like many of us to kind of, bring your life down to Austin. I think the music scene has historically been a big pull. There's a big film and TV community here as well. The innovation in the tech community is really blossomed. There's now a lot of space and artificial intelligence work being done. So it is a real industry hotbed, but also a city that to your point, you can have these really unique and amazing experiences at any given time.
No, I mean, last time I was there, I felt completely safe. I didn't have a car on me, so I just walked around and I found this awesome Mexican restaurant that made their own tortillas. And I asked them specifically at the door, I go, do you make your own tortillas? They're like, yes, absolutely. We make them here. I'm like, put me wherever. Okay, how many people? No, just me. I'm dating myself right now. I'm gonna have a meal. And then it was incredible, man. It was just I've never had a bad time or felt unsafe walking around in that city in the limited time that I've been there. So we've talked a lot about South by, and we've done a great job painting the picture of what it's about, your journey there. But let's talk about Greg the person. What do you like to do in your spare time, man?
I think priority number one right now, two little kids. I have a 3-year-old and a soon to be 5-year-old. So it's hard to.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, thanks. So it's hard to imagine life without that experience, and they're such a formative stage that I feel like that is a huge part of that my journey right now. And but historically have been a musician and a big runner, and just sort of connected into the community here. The one thing that that speaks to a lot of the work that you do on this program has just been, I did this long-term mentorship program here in Austin called Explore Austin, where we worked with a group of youth. You stay with the same cohort from 6th grade all the way through 12th grade. So it's a 6-year long-term mentorship program. And, one of the amazing things is like sometimes it takes kids a while to come out of their shell and really kind of engage, experience, that connection and vice versa. And so we do it all throughout for outdoor adventure. We started going camping, and then you can go rock climbing in Austin. So we do a year of rock climbing in Austin. Then we go to Idaho and we do rock climbing out in City of Rocks or mountain biking. So it was always outdoor adventure enabled. But through both activity and long-term mentorship, there was this opportunity to really support, unlock, and grow together, which was this really amazing experience here in Austin.
So in your spare time, you're also pouring into others, is what I'm hearing.
That is,
it's great.
The strong.
No, I mean, listen, so there's a through line there, bud. There's a through line. I have 3 kids. I have a 6-year-old daughter who's almost 7. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and then my son turns 12 on Halloween.
Wow.
So, my wife and I, we're in it. We are in this, we're in the middle school, he's 6th grade, and then my youngest is in 1st grade. And then I've got my little 4th grader here, and it's amazing. So in my spare time, I'm just with them. I'm with them. And, I love watching college football. That is my sport. Go Tigers. I'm an LSU guy. I played baseball there. So, nice. So I'm fanatical, and I am the epitome of an LSU fan, Greg. I am happy, and I am sad, and I am demonic all within 2 minutes. Like, I'm talking about one series of plays. I can go through that whole spectrum. But that's a little, we're in the weeds now, but those are my hobbies. You mentioned running. I like lifting weights, right? I lift weights early in the morning. And for me, it's my silent meditation time where I can connect with myself. Maybe I'm listening to music. Maybe I'm listening to a podcast. But for me, it allows me to kind of take, that metaphor when you hold sand so tight, it starts to slip through your fingertips and it's just gone. I feel like at times my mind gets so tight with creating and building and constantly pushing to the next level, the next stage, that in the gym, I need to kind of go brain dead. And those are the moments that I come up with the most ideas. And you mentioned running. Does running do that for you?
Oh, 1,000%, Shawn. It's been such a huge unlock. And I think creative blocks are sort of a natural thing. I'm also a morning person. I wake up early before my kids get up and get some work done, and then and factor in a run or something physical. Because I feel like, to your point, the blank brain creates that opening to actually just kind of let your mind wander, and that has been, I think, some of the best sort of ways to evolve thinking over. It's not uncommon to come back from a run and be like, need to make a note of that in my phone or whatever afterwards, because I finally got something unblocked that I couldn't make progress on without. And so, yes, it's been something that both physically is like a rejuvenating thing, but also I think really helps with those mental blocks and unlocking creativity.
Yeah. It changed everything for me. it's like my journey and my weight loss or my physical transformation changed everything in my business, changed everything in my show. It changed my tone. It changed my delivery. It changed my speech pattern, changed everything. And I think it's because for me, and I want to hear what you think about this as well. When I'm going through something and I'm in the middle of a lift and maybe in between sets, I can get really real with myself and get introspective, like, yo, dude, you're not doing what you're supposed to. Like, you're saying this, but you look like this. You're saying this, but this is the result. So the disconnect is nobody else but you, man. Like, and so that's kind of what I go through when I work out. And then I'm able to, I guess, I just don't judge myself for it, right? I'm okay. I can break myself down in the gym and be very harsh on myself. Like, all right, dude, you're not it. You need to figure it out. Get out of your own way. But for me, it works, right? I'm able to leave the gym and be like, okay, I need to do this, this, and this. Like, if I could just do these 3 things for the next 90 days, all it is waking up at 4 a.m. That's all. It's not that hard. You just get up and you go. And then you come home and you have good food, and if it's whole foods, you just put it in your body, and maybe you have ice cream once a week, not 3 times a week. Come on, Shawn, not every night. What's wrong with you? So the gym helps organize my mind so well, because without it, it's like my son's backpack, right? There's paper shoved on the bottom. Oh, wait, don't throw that away, Dad. I need that. I'm like, do you? Because it's been there for like a year. So, I a lot like you, man, that physical activity for me just keeps me straight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's the whole accountability metric of just holding yourself accountable to showing up every day, to being in the gym, to that routine is big. And I think too, it's one of those activities that is sort of like, you're not necessarily, it's all about incremental gains, right? It's not like you're seeing unlock all of a sudden, right? You're committed to a practice and you do it over time, and maybe you see progress, or maybe you go through periods where your lifting or your running suffers a little, but you come back to it. And but it's like almost more about the process and the practice than it is like the actual outcome. I mean, the outcome's important, right? But at least how it's been, just the act of doing is as much of anything as trying to reach the next milestone. But you got to be really committed to hit those milestones, because it is such an incremental sort of process to go through the lifting or any sort of physical activity.
I mean, true discipline means doing what you said you were going to do long after the emotion wears off. You can say the same thing about commitment, determination, truly being inspired. How much of doing the things that you don't want to do? Because, like, hey, listen, there's not every day do I want to wake up and go to the gym and lift weights and because it hurts and it's exhausting and I'd rather be sleeping. Those moments when you make those hard decisions to do something for yourself, how has that impacted your career and you as a partner and a father?
It's such a powerful question. I think in some ways it's true, because it's like all those pieces are interconnected. The mentality you build with that experience kind of connects all the dots. I mean, I'll bring it back to where we started with the dyslexia. Like, I learned at a young age that it was just going to take me longer than everyone else to read, to do a test, to get my schoolwork done. Like, that whole process sort of taught me, not to lose steam, that it's not about how long, but it's about the journey and getting to the finish line and just staying present and committed. And to be clear, like, it's an emotional roller coaster to go through that experience.
Yeah.
Feeling like you're not there yet, or it's not working, or but I think that was such a great setup for the rest of my life, being a committed partner to my wife and being present every day with your kids. It's like, not every day is going to be like a huge unlock, but over time, it's like there's those magical moments, and you get those by being present and staying committed and just showing up. I think that there's so much of going through life that, like, you got to be present and show up to really experience whatever's happening around you. And, I think that's true in the career. Like, I, as you said earlier, like, it is kind of unique that I've been in the same place for 15 years and I've loved it. It's been a journey. It's not like every day has been perfect, but over time, there's been this ability to continue to create and evolve personally and professionally in the context of this organization that has really kept me inspired, and to be connected to other people that are pursuing things both inside the organization and on a personal level that are creating so much energy and inspiration for them inspires me to keep showing up and collaborating. And, we get to build this thing that we pop up for 14 days and then it comes down, we recap, and then we have to rebuild the whole thing. So like the whole experience is sort of this process and being present and practicing those elements. So I think in some ways it's sort of indicative of the whole thing. It's just, keep showing up, being present and finding ways to be there at the moments that matter.
So I keep having this vision, this thought, or this, I don't say vision, but this movie that's playing in my mind as you're talking. You talked about being a great partner to your wife and being present for your kids. That's my biggest goal every single day.
Same.
This is something I do. This could be taken from me at any point in time, but I'm a father and I'm a husband. And it's so funny because there's so much joy there, right? But like you said, it's not always sunshine and rainbows, whether, in parenting, marriage, at work. A lot of times I feel like after 6 p.m., it's a damn street fight in my house.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm like, what is going on? And it's obviously my girls, right? My son is kind of just off, kind of hiding from all the chaos. And the girls, depending on how tired they are, can really interrupt the energy of the house. And as a father, it's hard to stay emotionally regulated, right? Because, I've been stressed all day. I haven't seen my wife all day, and now my connection with my wife is stressed because she disagrees with how I'm handling or vice versa, or we're both breaking up fights. Like, wow, this was fun, guys. Thanks. I hope you enjoyed your dinner.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I so identify with the evening wind down and the moments that pop up along the way. And, of being present is not, it's so easy in those moments to then trace back to that work thing you didn't do, or you missed your work.
Yes,
to remain present in that moment can be hard, but it's like, that's sort of the grind that we'll miss,
Life be lifing, man. And if we don't take care of what we need to do, then we cannot be there for our people, for our companies, for our kids, our spouses, our friends, etc. Man, thank you so much, Greg, for coming on to the show. I had such a fun time with you. And one more question for you. I know we talked a lot about mindset. We talked about South by and all the different ingredients it takes to be successful, because that's what really was the essence of the show. But if you could pin down in about 2 to 3 sentences of what determination actually is defined by Greg Rosenblum.
To me, determination is a lot of what we talked about. It's showing up every day. It's being present. It's continuing to commit yourself to the process and practice that is proving out for you, and defining the things in your life that really matter and focusing your energy on that.
Well said, man. Thank you again. For the audience that is listening, please go check out South by Southwest. Take a friend with you. Share their socials all around. Go follow them on Instagram. We'll put the show links in their link in the show notes. But guys, more than anything, if you're struggling, then you need to focus on community. Focus on how you can help and serve other people, and you'll see how much you are blessed. Don't do it just because of that, but understand that that's the trade-off. And until next time, guys, stay determined.